My 4-year-old daughter looked up from her cereal and said, "The man who comes at night told me not to tell you his name." I put down my coffee. I sat across from her. I kept my voice even. "What man, baby?" "The one who stands in the hallway," she said. "He waves at me." Kids say things, I know that. I had read enough parenting forums to know that 4-year-olds have imaginary friends, that they process anxiety through invented people, that none of it means anything. I told myself that. But that night I checked her room. I checked the hallway. I checked every window lock in the apartment. Everything was fine. Of course it was fine. 3 nights later, she came into my room at 2 in the morning and stood at the foot of my bed, just standing there. I almost had a heart attack when I opened my eyes. "He knows your name," she said. "He said to tell you hi, Mama." She had never called me Mama. We were a mom family. My mother was Grandma. There was no Mama. I had no idea where she got it. I called my building manager the next morning and asked if anyone had reported anything unusual. He went quiet for a second, too long of a second. He told me the unit above mine had been broken into 2 weeks earlier. The tenant was traveling. Whoever broke in had stayed there for an unknown amount of time. They found food wrappers, a blanket. The window above my daughter's bedroom had a direct sight line down into her room. I called the police. I filed a report. I moved out within a week. My daughter never mentioned the man again. A month later, helping pack the last of my boxes, my mother found something tucked into the frame of my daughter's window. A small, folded piece of paper. Written on it in neat handwriting were 2 things: my full name, and below it, my new address. My phone showed a missed call from my own number, and when I listened to the voicemail, I heard myself breathing on the other end. It came in at 2:47 in the morning. I was asleep. I didn't hear it ring. I found it the next day. 1 missed call. My number. I almost deleted it, but I listened. 14 seconds. No words. Just breathing. Slow. Steady. Like someone standing still. Then at the very end, a sound. A creak. The kind a floorboard makes when someone shifts their weight. My apartment has 1 floorboard like that, right outside my bedroom door. I played it again, and again, each time telling myself it meant nothing, some glitch, some mistake, but the breathing never changed, and that creak was always at the end. So I stopped listening, and I ignored it, for 6 days. Then my neighbor knocked on my door. She looked hesitant, like she wasn't sure she should be there. "I don't want to alarm you," she said, "but a few nights ago, I saw someone outside your door." I asked her what she meant. She said she heard something in the hallway late at night, looked through the peephole, and there was a man, just standing there, not knocking, not moving, holding his phone, looking at the screen. She watched him for almost a minute. Then he turned and walked toward the stairwell. She said she felt bad for not calling anyone. I asked her what night it was. She thought about it, counted back. "Tuesday," she said. "Late Tuesday, after midnight." While I was asleep, someone was standing outside my door, with a phone in their hand, calling my number. And that breathing I heard wasn't coming from inside my apartment. It was coming from the hallway, right outside my door. And that creak at the end wasn't mine. It was his. He had been standing there, close enough to record it, close enough to prove he was there. And I slept through all of it. He knocked on my car window while I was parked, and when I looked up, he was already smiling, like he knew me. I was in the hospital parking garage, 3rd floor. I'd been sitting in my car for maybe 10 minutes after visiting my dad, just decompressing, eyes closed, music low. Then, the knock. He was mid-40s, clean shirt, Nothing obviously wrong about him. That's the part I keep coming back to. Nothing obviously wrong. "Sorry to bother you," he said through the glass. "I'm completely turned around in here." "Which level is the exit ramp?" I cracked the window, maybe 2 inches. Told him 1 floor down. "Follow the yellow signs." He smiled wider, like that was all he needed. "Thank you," he said, and walked away. I sat there another minute. Something about it felt off. Not enough to name it, just enough to notice. Then I started the car and headed for the ramp. He was standing at the bottom of it, not walking, not looking at signs, just standing there, at the exact point where you have to slow almost to a stop to make the turn, facing my direction, still smiling. I didn't stop. I turned hard, kept moving, didn't look back. I got out onto the street and drove for 3 blocks before I realized my hands were white on the wheel. I called my sister, told her what happened. She said I was shaken from the hospital visit and reading into things. Maybe, probably. I went home. 2 days later, I was back at the hospital. Different time, morning instead of evening. I took the stairs instead of the elevator. No real reason, just instinct. On the 2nd floor landing, there was a security notice on the wall. Fresh print. That morning's date. It said a man had been reported the previous week, approaching women alone in the parking garage. Description: mid-40s, clean appearance, described by 2 separate women as smiling before he spoke. My stomach dropped when I read that part. Below it were the incident reports. One woman had rolled down her window, like I did. He asked for directions, like he did with me. The second woman hadn't rolled hers down. He followed her to the exit ramp, blocked her path until another car arrived. I kept reading, slower and slower. Then I saw the line that made everything feel wrong. Same garage, same floor, same time window, and the car description didn't match mine. Which meant, after I drove away, he didn't leave. He turned around and waited for someone else. And I had passed her on that ramp without knowing, without stopping, without any idea what I had just left her alone with. And the worst part is, he was still smiling when I saw him.